Hockey may be the toughest sport on the human body. Let's face it, ice is unforgiving. Hockey players skate faster than most athletes can run, so collisions have more force, and they're crashing into walls of wood and steel. That's a tough night at the office.
The glass and the boards are there to protect the fans from the puck, from the players, but certainly they can act as passive weapons. In other words, if a player hits the board or hits the glass, it's actually a force that he has to contend with in addition to the player who's actually hitting him. There is some give to the boards, but certainly at that rate of speed, with the body being in the positions that it may be in, it may put the bones or joints at risk for further injury. Over time, the glass has evolved such that if you look at the end of the bench, there's not a hard stop of the glass. It's actually a curved surface because players have gone down the bench while they're being drugged by an opposing player. They hit the edge of the glass. That was a significant risk for injury. Now there's a curved glass there in order to deflect the player off it back onto the ice such that he doesn't sustain a significant injury.
Sometimes players get checked into the boards at crazy angles with no time to protect themselves.
A hit into the board is really dangerous because it's a double impact. You first have the player hitting the other player. That other player then is jettisoned into the boards, and therefore he's hit twice. We can see shoulder dislocations, we can see shoulder separations, we can see clavicle fractures, and occasionally we'll see pelvic injuries because of the nature of the force.
Turns out knees don't like being slammed into solid objects at high speeds and weird angles.
When a player slides into the boards, his foot may hit the boards and cause a torque or rotation. It can cause a dislocation of the knee. It can cause a femur fracture, as we had a couple years ago with the Nashville Predators player who actually slid in to the boards in that manner.
Boards can mess with ankles too.
I worry about ankle fractures. I worry about ankle dislocations because the way the skate will hit the board, it will then twist the blade, hence the skate and the ankle.
And hits into the boards are hard on ligaments.
The knee has 4 main ligaments. The ACL and the PCL are in the center of the joint. The lateral collateral ligament is on the outside, and the medial collateral ligament is on the inside, and all 4 ligaments function to keep the knee stable for athletic activities. The ACL is on the center of the knee, and that controls rotation, so when a player loses their ACL, they can't pivot without the knee wanting to feel like it buckles. The MCL is on the inside of the knee, and that's more of a check rein that keeps the knee stable when they push off. So if a player is skating and somebody hits them from the side, that'll stretch the knee on the inside, and that's usually how that happens. ACL injuries happen more when the foot's planted, and since you are wearing a skate playing hockey, you don't have that torsion that causes the ACL injury. When they do happen, they can interfere with the hockey player's ability to be effective on the ice. So when somebody has an ACL injury, we typically need to make sure that they get that fixed in a timely fashion.
Good to know there's a doctor in the house.
We're always in the stands in case injuries happen.
Thanks, Doc. And that's the science of St. Louis Blues hockey.